All right, guys. So this is a better video on how to basically make your own vector art based on an image. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and just open up one of the images that I downloaded, which downloads. I have this like cute little witch images. So I'm just going to open those up in Illustrator. Perfect. And you might be able to see, but if I zoom in, which I'm just scrolling, but you can hit Control plus to zoom in, my artboard is actually very small. That's where it is. So I can always make my artboard bigger by just using my artboard button and clicking on the corners and dragging it. I can also use the black arrow, which is our direct selection arrow, and click on the image, and I can just drag and make it smaller. I'm holding down Shift as I drag the corners. That'll keep the ratio even. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lock this. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to lower the opacity, and I'm going to go to Object, Lock, Selection. And if you saw and you followed the last tutorial project, we created a silhouette. So that was outlining the whole outside of a figure. So we're going to kind of do the same process, except we do want to color this. There's parts of it we want to see because we'll end up coloring it. And I could just choose to do one part, but I want to do the whole witch. I'm actually going to go back to object and I'm going to unlock it again because I think I want it to be a little more, have a little more opacity. That's good. And I'm just going to go back to object, lock selection. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the pen tool. I'm going to make sure that I am using a black or dark color, and I'm going to switch so that the black is actually where the stroke should be. And now I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to start with the top hat. And using the pen tool, I'm going to click, drag, and I'm going to start kind of pinning out the shape that I want for this artboard. And I'm going to ignore kind of there's like this frill in the hat. I don't care about that. And so you guys can see it better, I'm going to turn up the stroke. It's a little stronger. There we go. So if I want to release my, I just clicked off. If you click back on the pen tool, that'll release the path. If you want to reconnect, you just click back on the pen tool and click right back on it. So I'm clicking and dragging to make kind of curved lines. I can just click once to make a straight line, but usually I like curved lines. So here on the other tutorial, we would have just gone all the way around and did her silhouette, but I want us to actually get each part. So I'm going to do her hat, the kind of like the rim of her hat here. And I'm going to ignore this little kind of veil she's got going on. I don't really care about it that much. And I just clicked back on my pen tool to release the point here because I want to click on this other one over here and kind of start where that is. So I'm just going to pen out all of this, all that I want. And I can always click with my white arrow, not the black one, the white one, on a single point to activate it. And I can move it if I need to move a single point, or I can adjust the handles. So I'm kind of getting everything that I think is important. This is like, you're like creating the line art basically. So this isn't the silhouette we're doing the line art. Like pretend you're making a coloring page for your little sibling or something. Like that's what we're doing. So there's a crease going up the hat that I thought was kind of cute, so I just added that. I've made things a little tricky for myself. She's got this dark hair that goes into the hat, and I'm kind of just guesstimating that about there is where her head disappears into the hat. So I'm going to kind of just invent where her hair comes down and joins with her shoulders. That's just me. I just decided to make things difficult for myself, but whatever. Perfect. Um, I'm going to use my white arrow and click off to release this path because I want to grab my pen tool, go back in, and I want to add some lines to kind of show the lines of her hair. So I'm just trying not to click on an active path because when I click on an active path, what it's going to try to do is adjust that active path. So I'm just throwing in some hairlines. I'm not making it super perfect because we're going for like vector art. So it's stylized. It's supposed to be a little stylized and cute. So I just want to show that this is kind of hair and it's kind of flowing out of her head. So there you go. That's kind of looking like hair. Um, so I'm gonna then my next point, I think I'm gonna do her shoulder here. So I'm gonna click off. Ah, this is a good example. This line is part of the hat. You want all lines to connect to something, okay? Because we're going to turn this into a coloring page. So I want all my ends to connect because if this is out here, then when we try to make this a coloring page, this is an open area, which means it can't be colored. Okay, so you need to make sure that any area that you plan to color is enclosed. So I might fast forward some of these bits, but I'm just kind of getting the major points. I'm not bothering with the mesh. That's going to take forever. And actually, I might try to use kind of a pattern to do that anyway. Save myself some time. I'll probably make a pattern for that. But any creases, any kind of important uh like lines I want to include because again, I'm trying to make like a coloring page. So I want as much detail as I can get. And this is how I'd go about making any vector art. Okay, any art you're trying to make, whether you decide to color it, or just keep it like black and white, whatever, like just act like you're making a coloring page for a little sibling or something. Just outline it. And I, of course, chose something very complicated because I did. All right, I'm going to fast forward this part and I'll come back to you in a second.